Hi, welcome everyone to Nicola Valley Talk, a product of Experience Nicola Valley, featuring many amazing blogs written by many amazing people who know a thing or two about living in small communities. Every Thursday at 7 p.m. Pacific time, join us. I am your host, Tanya Stewart, as well as an eco blogger with Experience Nicola Valley, helping promote our community, businesses, nonprofit agencies, musicians, artists, and tourism in our valley and our sister community, Logan Lake. Self distancing in my home and staying safe. Tonight, our guest is someone I have known forever and a day. In fact, we used to fight over whose boyfriend was Davy Jones from the Monkees. and so, my guest, again, I've known him forever and a day, is one of my heroes. And I can actually say that with pride because she is one of my heroes. She is a student support worker, a Merritt volunteer firefighter for the Nicola Valley, a COVID 19 birthday party organizer, outdoor enthusiast, worldwide traveler, and a great bowler. I'm telling you, she's great. Let us welcome Debbie Tanska. Hi,
Hi,
Debbie.
Tanya.
Davy Jones, I know
Wow,
he's
that
gone
was
now.
an intro.
He's still my boyfriend.
Davy Jones, it was.
Well, we could share him, I guess. I guess we probably did. Poor guy. Debbie, welcome to the Nickel Valley Talk. And like I said, you're one of my heroes, and like you're amazing to me because I may not have said it that many times, or maybe I never said it, but the things you have done with your life and what you do is just amazing. And like, I couldn't imagine being a firefighter, like a volunteer firefighter, and what you do. Like, ah! So Debbie, could you please provide our viewers a snapshot of yourself, a bio of sort?
A snapshot. Well, I was born in Merritt and I was raised here. I left for a short time and came back in 1998. And I went back to school and I became an education assistant, as well as I've been a firefighter for over 10 years now. And I'm raising my grandson who has autism and type 1 diabetes. So, yeah, I keep pretty busy.
Like, wow, eh? Like, and I know that because I've known you since like grade two, right? I think it was around grade two. And yeah, like I mean, you know Merritt. You and your father, Les, bless his heart, he was an avid fisherman,
Yep.
avid bowler.
Yep.
And I guess that's where you got your outdoors from, a lot of it from.
Yeah, I grew up out here.
Yeah,
Lots of camping, fishing, some hunting.
yeah. Well, that's awesome. Well, I love this. During COVID and due to COVID and our country going through a lockdown that began in March, right? And your first party parade, I believe, was in March. And many children who had been looking forward to, the event of the year, which is their birthday, and having a party celebration, gifts, cake, and everything, and fun times. And it's a highlight of any child's life. And I can remember that. I'm sure you can. And heartbreaking to say the least is that it that had to stop. So my question to you, Deb, what made you take on this amazing project?
Well, I had first actually heard about party parades through my sister Kim. She lives in West Bank, West Kelowna, and they were actually doing them out there, and she had joined in on one. So when she had told me, I thought that would probably be something that might work out here. So that was how I decided to get into it.
And so, okay, so you heard from your sister Kim, and you started to decide how to start doing it. But what initially, I mean, was it someone you knew that wasn't going to have a birthday party, like, and then she got a hold of you, and you just went, "Wow, okay, I'm going to start organizing these parties."
No, I think what it is I work I work in the school district. So I work with a lot of kids, and you hear the kids talk about their birthday parties and stuff. And I knew that with everything being shut down, that that kids weren't having it. So I thought that it was something that I could do to maybe make their days a little bit better. So I took it and I ran with it. I started, it was actually really simple. I started a Facebook page. Facebook it can be one of those social medias that is amazing to get things out there. And so I started a page and I advertised it on the Grapevine. And I had messages within the first 5 minutes for birthdays. I was already booking them. And 2 days later, on the 29th of March, we had our first one. And actually, there was two that day. And it was pretty exciting because I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know how many people were going to show up to actually do the parade. And there was 29 vehicles. It was pretty emotional, actually, for me, because it was that much support, right? Because it's a great idea, but it's only a great idea if other people are joining in. So yeah, it was pretty amazing.
And I think, like, to me, and I know you kind of answered this question, like, I wouldn't even know where to begin. And you highlighted on where you highlighted it and everything. Like, I wouldn't even, like, oh yeah, great idea, but and then you do it. I mean, like, what kind of support did you have other than your sister Kim? I know she must have supported you.
Well, yeah, and I mean, it was Kim thought, yeah, you could totally do this, and we should do this. I got a hold of somebody that was actually running with one of the party parades in Kelowna, or in West Kelowna, and talked her ear off. And she let me know what she had done, given me some hints of things. She recommended that I get somebody else to work with me, but I ended up flying pretty solo because it was just easier to keep it organized. So every night I took a look at who was booking them, and I set out meeting places and the parade route, and made sure everybody knew where it was going to be, and I made events for it on the page every day, and it worked. We had, at the end of April or end of May, we had over 650 people on that Facebook page. So,
Oh, and I know we're going to go off track on these questions a little bit in order, but but that's how it goes. We just talk. Because of these birthday parties, right, for these wonderful children that were devastated due to COVID and having to be locked indoors, what branched out from that? Like, were there other parties, like anniversaries?
There was. Yeah, so we had a lot of messages about other people's birthdays, and a lot of elders' birthdays, and those ones touched me deeply as well. So we really we added them into our parades of the day. We didn't advertise that we were doing it, but we were doing them. And then there was other people that were forming their own parades, and I invited them to advertise on my page, and we would go and join in their parades as well. So yeah, it did. It branched out into all age birthdays, and yeah, that was pretty amazing to see some of that.
And with the elders, because of lockdown and stuff like that, and as long and with the children too, but especially our elders that couldn't see each other with their families and stuff like that, but could unite together in a birthday or a anniversary or party or whatever parade and get to see each other. And I mean, that must have been, oh, so heartwarming. I can't even imagine. And Debbie, I have to ask you, so with this, how far did this reach out throughout Canada? Because it must have been, people must have been recording it, parents must have been, and stuff like that. Can you explain to our viewers, like, how did this, like, totally reach out throughout Canada?
Well, I know that there was a lot of families that Zoomed it. Zoom was like the new thing to do during COVID, and it was a good way to visit with your family and that across computers. So we had a lot of people that were actually filming. They were real live and taking like pictures and that of us doing these party parades. So they ended up, there was a lot of people all the way across Canada. I think that some of them even advertised it down in the States and that. So with family that just couldn't be here for that.
And I can share one experience with myself is that I have a niece, my younger brother's daughter, who lives in Toronto, and she actually followed a few of them, and I mean that's in Toronto, and I didn't even know. And when she was visiting here, she mentioned it to me. And I'm like, wow, like, and to impact people who she didn't even know these people, right? But she watched them because she lived in Merritt here, and it just really tore at her heart to see it and to accommodate what you were doing, and like, I mean, the effect that you had. Do you realize? I mean, the um, like even myself, I used to wait for you guys to go by, like beep beep beep, beep, and I'd be standing outside in my pajamas, my hair all wacky because I didn't need to shower for a week, right? Look like cat, and I would see people that I hadn't seen for like a month, and be waving at them and seeing these little kids like yay. And do you realize the impact that you have had on families and these children?
Well, I guess I don't really think about that. All I know is that how it made me feel. And I know that the people that joined me in the parades also like we looked forward to it every day and seeing these kids that were so excited to have like cars drive by that were decorated and beeping the horns and it was for them, right? So it was a way to make them feel really special. And I mean, I guess I didn't look at it as, the impact that I had, but yeah, I definitely, along with all the people that were with me, were like making a huge difference in these little kids' lives. So, and our older kids too, right?
Oh, yes. And you know what? A lot of times we forget about our older kids, especially teenagers, right? They're almost like the same age as a 3-year-old. You got to give them as much, as much as a 3-year-old does, attention and care. And oh, yes. Okay, Debbie, you did kind of touch on how many parades and that, but could you, because I kind of like went ahead of the game and the questions and that, could you tell our listeners and viewers how many and in the end that you actually covered?
Sure. So our total ended up being 84 birthday party parades that we did in the 2 month span. So, and we had a number of vehicles show up. The most that we had were 55 vehicles for one of our parades. So that was pretty cool. And we even had our CMP help us out a little bit by blocking the road with some lights, which kids love too. And helped out that way for us. So that was pretty cool.
Okay, again, back to that you're an outdoors enthusiastic and you have this lifestyle. Can you share with us some of the best camping areas for families around the Nicola Valley and maybe Logan Lake if you've gone camping and hiking there?
So I obviously have my favorites. My favorite lake will always be Lumbum, and they've done a lot of improvements with it lately. But we have a nice little area that we like to go to, and it's quiet, and that's for me that's really important, especially with Caleb because of Caleb's autism. A lot of stimulus is not so great for him. So nice, quiet, right by the lake. So Lumbum is definitely one, and that Lumbum is good for hiking, biking, horseback riding, geocaching, which is another thing that we'll talk on because that is a huge thing for me. And it's just a beautiful area. Lac Lejeune is one that works really well. They have a playground right there, and it's a bit of a walk to the lake, but that sometimes works because I don't always want to be right by the water with Caleb because he will live in the water if I let him. Harmon Lake is another really nice lake. I prefer around one of the quieter areas near the end of the lake. And I'm trying to think of, Kentucky Eileen. Kentucky has got a beautiful, other than being a beautiful blue lake, it has a trail all the way around the lake that is easy to hike in, and it's quiet. And all these lakes that having the commonality of it is that it's calm and it's serene, and you aren't camping right next to people, and you're not on top of people. It's just a lot more serene, and I just think that that works a lot better with some of our children that are their stimulus is on a higher end.
I remember growing up here in Merritt in the Nicola Valley is that our motto used to be a lake a day as long as you stay. What would you say to them to be coming to the Nicola Valley and experience some of these lakes?
Well, I think for me is because there are so many, I would just say explore, because a lot of these places are accessible by most vehicles. And because there isn't a lot of crowded people, like crowds of people in that, you can go in, you can take the kids, go have a picnic, take them for walks around there. I'm not very sure on some of the wheelchair accessible areas, but I'm sure there's a lot. We have some docks even out Nicola Lake area. Some of our trails are definitely, I would recommend, right in the area of Merritt are amazing places to take children, and not only for our kids that are special needs, for any kid, especially we've turned into generations of kids that are on videos and computers all the time. So Merritt is like one of those areas that is just, it's a gem, because I mean, we grew up here and we know that. And I mean, how many times do we go hiking and find all these new trails up on the bench, and that there is lots of stuff out there. Take the kids out bike riding, take the kids out hiking. It's like there's so much to do. It doesn't matter how long you stay here, you will always find something to do out in the outdoors around here.
And I agree with you on that. Our kids are stuck to their computers, they're stuck to their phones. And me and you and your sisters and my brothers, like, wow, did we ever have adventures up in those mountains? We wouldn't come back home until it was dark out.
That's right.
And that is so true. And yes, and people need to explore more. And I mean, because we have so much here to offer. So let's go on to the geocaching. So I'm kind of like curious about up in
well, Lumbum, but
Lumbum.
all the lakes.
Geocaching?
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
When I started geocaching in 2009, there wasn't a lot of geocaches in Merritt. Now there are hundreds of them in the area, and there's lots right in town. So there used to be a lot of traditional ones that are, it's just you put it in your GPS and you go find it and you trade stuff up. But now they have puzzle caches, they have micros. A lot of them are geared for kids. There's always like fun stuff that's hidden in it. So the point of geocaching is that you go out, you go onto a website called geocaching.com. You punch them into your GPS. There is now, you can get the actual app right for your phone, so you don't even need a GPS anymore. You find them, you trade stuff up. Kids love it. It's like a treasure hunt in the woods is what it is. Most of the lakes in the area have at least 4 or 5 geocaches in the immediate vicinity. So you could be here for a year and still find geocaches every day. There's so many. There is over 2 million in the world right now, and it's in all parts of the world. So I've traveled a lot, so there is in other areas, but I find in the smaller communities like Merritt, they have a lot of fun ones. Like they have puzzle caches and riddles that you have to find, or they have ones based on the history of the town and the area. So yeah, it's pretty cool. It's definitely something fun, but it's also like a learning opportunity.
Debbie, I want to ask you this, and I don't know if I sent this to you, and it's probably my, but if there's anything that you could think of what Merritt needs for families, like like a like some kind of tourism, something that families would come and be, be drawn to Merritt, what would you think of?
Well, I have to think of when I go to other places, what I like to see. So for me, because I like the outdoors, I think just having like having more maps out there, like safer trails, because if people are coming in, I don't even know how much is available. Like I think they show a few of the biking trails and that, but
Hmm.
you know, do people know where the Tom Lacey Trail is? A lot of people in town don't even know, right? Those are things that you could come into town and you could do it in a day. So if you're only here for a day, it's still something that you could do. So something along that line, like more advertising what we have like on the like around the city too, right? So that might be something.
And that is very interesting, Debbie, because actually, until I started blogging and until I started this program, I didn't even know about these hiking trails. I mean, yourself and I and our family, our brothers and sisters grew up hiking these trails and exploring them. Um, so, Debbie, could you share with our listeners what is special about the Nicola Valley and our sister town, Logan Lake?
Well, I think um, that you can do as much or as little as you want in these places. They're the the things that are available to us are huge, and I don't even think that even our local people know. But to have people come in, it's there's always something to do and there's always something to explore. I think the history of Merritt, and I don't know a lot of the history of Logan Lake, but I would sure absolutely love to learn. I've done geocaching there. But the history of Merritt and stuff is so fascinating. It's you'll have other towns really like play up on the history of their town. I think that's another thing that we could do that would be like amazing for people to learn, right? So I just think it's just a gem. I love this city, and I'm glad that I brought my children back here so that they could grow up and learn to love the city as well. So
I know, and you know what, Debbie? I fought so hard to get out of Merritt, and then I fought so hard to come back.
right,
you know, and I never felt at home in any other place or community than I have in Merritt. And
yeah,
like both my kids, they say they don't ever want to move. Like they just love it here, and it is an amazing, and it is what you make of it, right? I mean, we have the best
it is.
summers, we got the best springs, and we got the sunniest winters, even more than Kelowna. Like it's amazingly beautiful. So, Deb, could you share with our listeners what the Experience Nicola Valley bloggers and this talk show means to the community, and how, in your opinion, is it benefiting local businesses, musician, nonprofit agencies, tourism and merit, as well as our sister town, Logan Lake?
Well, I think it's an absolutely great way to reach a larger audience. Obviously, there's a lot of things that you're starting to introduce to people that even we don't know about, and supporting our local business and our musicians and our nonprofit organizations are so very important. It's and it That's what keeps our city being what it is. I think that's the biggest thing is just the reach that social media has on people, that you guys are introducing a place that people would not necessarily know about, and know what we have available and what we can offer to other people.
Is what is the difference when you come to someplace like Kentucky and Aline as compared to going to someplace like Cultus Lake, for camping with your family? What can you get? What's I don't want to compare, like both beaches are beautiful, but if you're looking for more of a down, like relaxing, what is the difference?
Well, and that's most of it is how it is not crowded. So you're not camping on top of one another. Some of those bigger communities might offer stuff that obviously costs a lot more money, right?
Mhm.
Not just the camping. They seem to be camped beside other things. Our lakes are out in the wilderness, so it's quiet. It's educational because you are learning about plants, animals. On any given day camping, you'll see a bear walk by, deer, lots of birds. There, there's yeah, the birds that like to steal the food, squirrels. But I mean, it feels like you're out in the wilderness and that you're learning about and learning to live with them as well, right? So I just think that that's one of the biggest things is just how it's not crowded, and and when you do meet your neighbors when you're camping out this way, they're great. Like it's usually, you become friends, you visit each other's fires or whatever, but you still have your own space, and I think that's one of the best things about camping out here.
And also, a lot of our places do not have Wi-Fi.
No, they do. You can't. They have no cell service.
Yeah, yeah, it's like, sorry, kids,
Yeah.
put it away, and that, which is great, and we know that kids, they they thrive in the outdoors. They do, and so do
Yeah.
we as parents, right? Like, and it becomes a lot more enjoyable. So, Debbie, okay, I'm going to change the subject once again, and if I mess up here, I want to shout out to the Nicola Valley Merritt Fire Department. Okay, can you tell us about this picture? Oh,
Well,
okay.
this was at live fire. So this is training that we all as firefighters have to do. We go to Kamloops and we learn how to deal with different types of fires. This one happens to be a propane fire with a tank. So there's a whole thing with it. But yeah, that's all guys that are at the hall here.
And Debbie, just quickly, can you tell us how long have you been a volunteer firefighter?
Um, I think it is 11 years now.
Holy Hannah.
Yeah.
Good for you, girl. Speaking of the outdoors, explain this picture quickly.
So this is out at Monk Park with Caleb. Now he was quite a bit younger. He's 11 now. Um, because I used to actually throw him up out into the water, and there's no way I could do it now. He's a big boy. But yeah, this is one of the things that we used to love to do, and we'd go later in the day when it wasn't as busy and just go swimming.
And last but not least, and here's Debbie, a hero.
Yeah.
Many.
Nope.
Well, you
I
are.
just I love helping my community.
Do you have to re-enlist, or what is it that you do?
Well, we have to do recertification for our first responder, and we do training every Monday. So it is a continuous learning environment. So we have an amazing crew with this fire department, amazing officers, and I believe that we are 6 or 7 women strong now. So
Wow,
yeah,
that is awesome.
yay!
So I thank you so much, Debbie, for coming on our show, on this talk show. And
Well, thank you for having me.
well, oh, I thank you, Debbie. Okay, so I'm going to let you go now, and I will talk to
Thank,
you soon.
thank you.
Wow. Okay, so that was really an amazing show because, like, this is a lady, and I am telling you, she is a hero to me. We need to come, like, I feel that there are many women out there that do many great things and stuff like that that we know, but there are many women out there that we don't know that are on the sidelines that have done many amazing things. And I think this woman, Debbie Tanska, has done it. So, what a great show again. And so, join us next week, same time, same place, with the same person, me, Tanya Stewart, your host of Experience Nicola Valley Talk, a program of Experience Nicola Valley, promoting our community in our small town, as as well as our sister town, Logan Lake. And make sure to check out all our amazing blogs at Experience Nicola Valley. And remember the 4 R's: reduce, reuse, recycle, and rethink, and keep our landfills empty. Bye.